The cardboard box suddenly broke. The sound of frozen meat falling just covered up the manager's door-closing sound. That's how the girl got locked in the -18 degrees Celsius cold storage. At that moment, she was completely unaware. Until the manager turned off all the lights in the store, the girl finally realized the danger. She quickly got up to knock on the heavy door. In her panic, the girl turned on the cold storage light, but she was very scared inside because the manager was constantly on the phone. He didn't notice any other sounds. Until leaving the mall, the manager's call hadn't ended. The girl quickly searched for her phone, but unfortunately, it was left on the counter in the store. Facing the bone-chilling cold storage, the girl became desperate. She found a small cart and forcefully crashed it against the door. But after hitting it for a long time, the door wouldn't open. Her hands were rubbed raw. As the temperature continued to drop, the girl passively kept rubbing her palms, hoping this method could provide a tiny bit of negligible warmth. By chance, she felt a movie ticket in her pocket. The girl looked at her watch. The last movie showing was about to end. She quickly grabbed a tray, hurriedly went to the door, then stared intently at her watch. When time came, she desperately knocked with the tray. At this time, the movie audience just happened to pass by the girl's store, but everyone was discussing the movie and what to eat for late-night snacks. No one noticed the girl's calls for help. After the crowd passed, a little boy walked by and heard the girl's knocking sounds. The little boy told his father about the noise in the store, but when the father put down his phone and came over, the girl's tray had just slipped from her hands. She was too frozen to have the courage to struggle anymore, thus missing the only chance. As all the lights in the mall went out, the girl was completely trapped in the cold storage, and now her watch was frozen and cracked. Without time, she became more panicked. Worse still, the girl's nose started bleeding from the cold. At this rate, it wouldn't be long before the girl would freeze to death. She fearfully curled up in a cold corner, not knowing how much longer she could hold on. Soon, her palms were frostbitten, and frost slowly started forming on her arms. The girl took off her earrings, took out a thin piece of clothing from her bag, then tore it in half and used tape to wrap the fabric around her hands and feet. But this small equipment couldn't solve the cold problem. Her toes started to crack from freezing. She could only curl up tightly. After an unknown amount of time passed, the girl hazily discovered all the cold was coming from 2 fans in the cold storage. She gathered courage again to take down a cardboard box, then tore it into 2 square-sized boards, then dragged her injured body up the ladder. The close-range cold wind blew on her face. She stood on tiptoe, shakily covered the fan with the cardboard, then carefully taped it up. One slip would cause her to fall, but what you fear often happens, just as she was securing the second one.